We would then like to talk about what are the very beginning steps of this telepathic communication you can have with us on this side of things. Hello, Lori dear. It is indeed I, Xanadu, and we are here, me, myself, and I, and the collectives, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Council of Nine, and the Council of Light. And we are very happy to be here today, not only to speak with you and Lucas, but also to many of you who are watching today. We would like to bring forth information today that will help many of you to begin to connect with us. Lori dear, we are hoping that you can share a little bit about what it is like to channel and what it is like to telepathically speak with us, and maybe share some of the positives from each of those. Okay. I like both of them. I feel like I use both of them every day. So when I just telepathically speaking, that is nice when I'm just throughout the day, if I'm relaxed and in a state of just doing tasks. Usually my mind will start to relax, and I might have a question, or I might just want to say hi, and usually it's just a small mini conversation. And then the channeling I like a lot because I can record what I'm saying, and then I can listen to it back, or I can transcribe it, and that helps a lot with my frequency of belief. So if I'm not sure, like during the part when I'm channeling, I try to just bring forth what I hear, and then after I'm channeling, even right after I'm channeling, my belief will be so much higher when I'm actually when I'm not in the process of it, but I'm just listening to it. I'll be like, oh, that made sense. That's surprising. That made sense because maybe I didn't think it did, or whatever, something like that. So I use both of them daily. I like both of them. I think it's great that this opportunity that people have to do this is you can use either one, or you can use both. So I think that's great. So that's my perspective. Thank you, Lori dear. We so appreciate your perspective. We would then like to talk about what are the very beginning steps of this telepathic communication you can have with us on this side of things. First step is to just set an intention that you would indeed like to speak with us. That could be just telepathically inside of yourself, or it could be actually with channeling. And that's the first intention, is to just be open and genuine and authentic and come from your heart, and that is it. And we will hear it, and we'll begin to work with you. Now, this is the second step then, is when we begin to work with you. And that is primarily, we would like to say, a technological process that is mainly from our perspective, from us. So this is something that we're going to be doing. This is our work on our side. So what we would ask in this second step of you to do is to find a place where you can be quiet. We would like to say you could be meditating or just resting. When Lori was going through this, what she had talked about, it was about a 6-month period of time. She just relaxed in her bed, and she just became quiet, and she focused herself, and she centered herself, and that was enough. It does not have to be any kind of specific way of meditation or a specific technique. It is really just kind of finding a place where you can be quiet and undisturbed, and you can be comfortable, and you can be in any form of bodily position. We would prefer that you're not doing anything else. So this would be a time when you are just focusing in the interior, focusing inside of yourself. And it could be sitting up, it could be laying down, it could be in any position you want. And in that place when you are focusing inside of yourself. Just set a general intention that you are ready to meet with us, and try to have as much as possible an openness towards us. Now, we do not want you to work very hard in this. We do not want you to feel like, oh, I have to do something constantly. I have to constantly be open. I have to constantly work to be in a state where they can work with me. What is most important is not to work, is to just relax and to just focus interior and to just be quiet and enjoy that period. So Lori dear, could you just take a brief moment and talk about how you approach that? Sure. So what I did is I did what they said. I just enjoyed laying in my bed, getting all comfy. I put it's like a headband, I guess. It goes over my ears and over my eyes. And I just enjoyed, and I just made sure I was alone and that I had time, and I just relaxed. I would set my intention, I would go interior, and I wasn't chanting anything, I wasn't listening to anything, I was just being quiet and enjoying the rest, actually. Thank you, Lori dear. That is most helpful, as we do not want those who will begin to work with us and be in this second step to feel like they need to do anything, to feel like they need to work. It is not something you need to work to do. It is not something where you have to constantly be moving in your mind or in your heart. You can just relax. Now, this period of time that Lori was able to do this was 6 months, and she did this nearly every day. She, at least usually 5 to 6 out of 7 days, she did this. And so that's kind of what we're asking for you. And we're saying for sure 5 out of 7, 6 out of 7 if you can, and maybe take a day where you don't have to think about it at all. And in this period of time, we will work on the channel, which will be mainly us working, making a bridge through your etheric body. You may feel many sensations in various parts of your body, and it won't be the same every day. Some days you may feel quite a lot of sensation, and it'll be very obvious we're working with you, and some days you may not. Some days you may just feel like you just got a good rest. So you do not need to worry about, oh no, like something's not happening, or maybe nothing's happening, or maybe they're not working with me. We would say that the best possible attitude you can have in this second step is to just trust in the process that we are indeed working with you. There may be days when you do not feel like you are being worked with, that you might feel like, well, I didn't feel anything. That is okay. Just trust in the process. There are many things we'll be doing on this side of things, and it will vary from day to day. So please just relax, just commit to doing this. And the amount of time we would say would be approximately 30 minutes. If you continue to feel the energy and that 30 minutes is coming to an end and you're able to stay longer, that is great. I know, Lori dear, you are able to stay a little bit longer. You stayed from anywhere from an hour to about 2 hours. Lori dear, if you could just talk for a few minutes about what it felt like in those physical sensations. Okay, sure. I thoroughly enjoyed it, actually. So the only frustration I had is because I was able to telepathically speak to them, which what I thought was the Holy Spirit at that point. So I would say, speaking to spirit, I was used to hearing clairaudiently, and I was not hearing anything clairaudiently. It was all physical, which was all brand new for me, a whole new world. Had never experienced that before, ever. Never experienced it. So it was, most days it was obvious that something was happening, but each day it was different. And I would say, I can't remember, I'd have to look through my journals as to what happened, like, you know, throughout the 6 months, like how that changed. But I would say that for me, I felt energy, and that energy could come up through my feet, or sometimes it would just come through my heart and then move. Sometimes it would just feel like it would come into my head. It would come to various parts of my body, and it was not the same every day. And let's see, I found it very comforting. I felt like I liked the idea that spirit was working with me. See, I talk about spirit was working with me. Now I know it was the collectives that were working with me. I appreciated it. I felt comforted. It was not a scary thing for me at all. It wasn't something that you're going to feel in pain about. There was some times where there might have been a slight amount of discomfort, and that actually, you know, I think about it. There could, when I feel like it was my chakras opening up in different days, different chakras, and when that would happen, there might be some, I would say, discomfort in your chakra area, pressure that happened. It also, some of that with my heart especially, and one time with my crown, after I stopped and I was out in the house doing things, I could still feel my heart being worked on. That happened some days. I did feel some energy come into my head at various parts, and in different parts of my head, which was very interesting. I don't know I'm just going to go forward with this since we're talking about it, that there were times when there was more intense energy to come through, and during those times, my third eye would activate, and I would see, like this, on the screen inside of my head, I would see things that would relax me. And I would often see things that I was just doing before I went into meditate to spend time with them. I would see things that I had just done. Like, for example, I have, you know, I love my fish. We have many animals, but we also have fish. And often during this time, because before I would meditate, I think I would just look at the fish and spend time with the fish. And we had just gotten this, this so cute, we call a little red riding red cap, right? And she's a red-capped Aranda, right? So I say Aranda? Yeah. She's so adorable. And she has her own way of being, and she's always swimming around on her own. And the other fish are usually kind of grouped together, and she's just doing what she wants. And I just love watching her. She's just adorable. We got her as a baby. She's really tiny. And anyways, when something stressful would be happening, I would all of a sudden have this screen open up, and I would be underwater, and then I would be looking underwater and not afraid at all, like not breathing. For me, this was relaxing. So for somebody else, it might not be, but for me, it was really relaxing. And I would be looking around underwater, like, and then I just was enjoying just being underwater and watching like sea creatures that I really couldn't see that well, but they were around. And then all of a sudden, Redcap would come like swimming towards me out of like this darkness, and it'd make me so happy. I thought it was so loving of them to show me something that they knew that I loved, and it relaxed me. So that happened, I don't know, not too many times. I would say maybe 5 times out of the whole 6 months. But that did happen when something more intense was happening. They would open up my screen to relax me further. And I enjoyed it. I just thought that was so loving.
Well, I think what it also told you was that they knew you. Like, yes. They knew you, and they knew what would relax you.
Yes.
And it was something very, like, current. Something very, like, just something about you that nobody else would really know, I think.
Yes.
And that gave you this kind of confidence that they knew you intimately, I guess.
Yeah, it did. I loved it. So I have to say, these 6 months, I loved all the physicality about it. I felt a lot of different things. There were times where I felt pressure. There were times when breathing was a little bit strange, where I felt like maybe I had some it just was different. Like it wasn't like I couldn't breathe, but it just felt like there's pressure. There was also times where I felt like different, I don't know how to say this, but like my lower abdomen would move up. It's just things would happen, and it would just be nothing hurt. It would just be, to me, I was just interested. You know, I was just, well, that's interesting. You know what I mean? So I would suspect, and they can talk about this, that this is gonna be different for every person. Every person's gonna feel this differently. And I'm assuming that some would feel it to like I did, and maybe some would feel more, some would feel less, and some would feel maybe not much. I would assume that every person's different, and maybe I just needed a lot of work on me. I mean, I think they talked about that it took me longer because we had to create the channel, so there was more involved. But yeah, so they can, since they've been asking me to talk about things, I'm going to ask them. So can you guys talk about that? Yes, Laura dear, thank you for the question. We would like to say that you are correct. Each individual will have a unique experience. And you are also correct in assuming that because we all here, Lucas and Lori and us, Xanadu and the 4 collectives, our mission was to create this channel. It did take extra work working with you. It did take a longer period as well as a more intense period to create that bridge for us in order to do that. So we would like to say that your experience, Lori dear, although we are very thankful that you shared it, is a little bit longer as well as more intense than it will be for most everybody else that we work with. So we would like to start there, that you will feel sensations through the body, and that will change from day to day, though there will never be pain. There may be some discomfort in a way of not, and a lot of that may come from not really sure what is going on. And so we would say in this process, if you are able to relax and able to allow the process to just happen. We know that Lori dear enjoyed this process very much, and she was very curious about the different sensations. So even though hers was much more intense than most will be, she still enjoyed it. It wasn't that it was something that she did not want. She looked forward to, if we can say. Is that correct, Lori dear? Yes, very much so. Very much so. Okay. Okay, so we would like to say that we are very thankful for this transmission today, and we are looking forward to speaking to you again in the form of another channeling, another video. And so we can kind of begin again where we are letting off today. We know this is a long conversation. We know that you all will have many questions. So for those of you that do have questions, and you will have questions, we hope that you can connect with us at this time before we have created the telepathic communication with you. We are hoping you can ask questions through the website that Lucas has created. And the website is helloxanadu.com. And we know that some of you have begun to ask questions and ask them through that format of the website. And we would like to say that we are waiting to gather a larger amount of questions. And then at that point, we are hoping to do a question and answer video. So if you can continue to bring forth your questions, and when we gather a bit more, we will then have a video, and then hopefully that will assist you in that way. We know this experience will be different for all of you, and we are looking forward to hearing the many intentions around the world that we hope to begin to hear, that of those that are wanting to speak with us and relate to us. We are very thankful for this opportunity to bring forth this information. We are looking forward to speaking with you all very soon in another video which we will create that will just begin where we are letting go today. So we send you all in love and light, the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Council of Nine, the Council of Light, Xanadu, Adieu and Adieu. All right.
Great job.
Yeah, and I think I just want to say that there's going to be a lot more coming with this, because I know that many people will have questions.
Right.
And it's just a way to start this process of beginning, right?
That's right.
All right. Should we do a high five?
High five.